Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Dan Thomas.
No.
This
There
hour
we
of
go.
programming brought to you by RTM Roofing. Go to rtmroofing.com for all your roofing needs.
You know that's right. It's one of those days again today, and man, is it coming at you. You don't have no clue. And I'm not talking to anybody in the studio. I'm talking to you out there. You have no clue. This is going to be a show of the ages. We've got Johnny B in house. But I got to tell you who we are first. We're Renovation Nation, live on SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. Sitting here with, I'm Chad Rowan, owner of RTM Roofing, the host of the show. Sitting here with my cohort, partner in crime over here, Mr. Chris Gelbreth of Westwood Management. I got Miss Kimberly Presley here. Oh my God, I did it again.
Man. That's
Miss
it.
Kimberly Rowland. And, it's still new. It's still new. Don't kill me yet. And Johnny B's in the house. Miss, I can't think of anybody's name now. Miss Carly. I think she's got a friend in town.
Yeah, not a good excuse, but we'll take it.
Yeah, that's not good at all. And also Glenda.
Glenna.
If you've never heard our show, I never pronounce anybody's names right.
You're lucky he didn't call you John.
That's my usual go-to. That is my usual go-to is all of a sudden calling people they're not correct names. So, but anyhow.
Oh, it's Glenna.
It's Glenna.
Yeah.
Glenna, pleasure to finally meet you. And I've got something to talk about you too as well, and as a compliment to something I saw on Facebook that we're gonna bring up here in a little bit. I'm inquisitive on it. It looked awesome. I think something you posted too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
It was good, but just in case you didn't say it. But anyways, we're live today again. This is our like a fifth show live. I mean, we've actually
Five in a row.
I mean, it's that I don't know.
5 to go. Well, I know what's
strange.
that. No, it's wintertime and you guys don't want to go to the river.
That's true. That's true. Okay, all right. I see that's going to be today.
Yeah.
I see that's going to be today.
Well, I mean, it's the truth.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
That's it. But no, we're going to get in today to talking to Johnny B. You know, he's done my commercial since day one here. When I started here getting my branding and advertising going on, I've talked to Miss Laura, which I called Johnny B and go, who do I need to talk to? And he gave me Miss Laura Muncie, and she's a rock star.
Yes, she is.
And she goes, would you want somebody to do it? They had your standard guy, whoever that was, that just does the normal commercials. I was like, no, I want Johnny B. And I said, if he'll do it, I'd love it. I don't want to do it. You know, I was like, I won't, because I've known you for a long time. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but nevertheless, so he said yes and did it, and now people he's going to be in the commercial forever. Hey, when you retire, you're going to be I'm send you an MP3 deal to record it for me.
It's a deal.
But him, thank you for doing that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's a big thing, and I really appreciate it. Now we're doing tag teaming commercials.
Yes.
And bringing in a little bit, having some fun. And
Man of the Year.
Speaking of which,
he's working on it.
Speaking of which, that's where I was going. We just did our new commercial. It started this week, and Dwayne Reed, and my GM. It's battled leukemia, and still thanks to research and medicines that they brought up, is still with us and kicking its butt and doing well. And so we're doing it again this week. Now, unfortunately, I can't look at Facebook Live right now because it's, the infamous dome of whatever is blocked from us looking at the computer. But we are Facebook Live. We are, maybe. but hey, don't forget to pull your up. Don't forget to pull up.
It's not coming up.
Oh, it might in a minute. You got to refresh.
But we get the feed from North Korea, so
that's what they
Kim Jong Un's unhappy today.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Well, it's kind of cheap.
It's kind of cheap. But we're doing it again this week. Last week, the lawn care gentleman, I've got his notes somewhere I have to pull up, but he donated $100 for the first 100 that came in. He's getting the Jonathan's gift card for $25 in Green Hills, and thank you, Jonathan's, for that. This week, if anybody out there wants to match anything, gets done, whether it's $5, whether it's $10, whether it's $100, wherever, whatever, you're going to get to come with us, you and your spouse, and if you got a couple kids, that's fine. Up to 5 people are going to come with us to Topgolf. We're going to give that away to somebody we're going to pull out that does some donating today. And to donate, You go to rtmroofing.com. Just scroll down barely a quarter of the page where Mr. James Rayburn I can never remember his damn company, but that's a different story.
What company?
But, yeah, I know. So, I know. See what you did to me, Johnny? You see what you did? Off the air, no one knows. Kevin just freaked out in the background. We're going somewhere in a basket real quick, But anyway, but you go to RTM Roofing where James, my good buddy, and I'll get you his information, tag him on my post. He built my website, he builds websites, he's phenomenal. He has got it right there, right in front, says donate, and that takes you to their page, to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society page. And my picture's on there, and it tells you about it. So you're going to secure site if you want to donate. If not, share it. Just please share it. Share the news. Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
And when it comes to raising money for something that's a worthy cause, I mean, I'll do anything I can do to do it. But so we're going to raise one. Last week I think we shot for $1,000. I think we hit 900.
Really?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So it was right at it. We had a $500 anonymous that came in.
Anonymous.
And thank you, Mr. Anonymous. That's it's just I hate it when they do that, but I understand it.
Yeah.
I do too.
I get it,
Yeah.
but it kills me because I want to thank. I want to personally thank them for it. But just know if you're listening, thank you. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
So and let's see what else have we got. So. LLS, leukemia lymphoma. Let's raise some money. We're looking on our phones right now so we can watch our websites or the RTM page, the Facebook page of my personal Renovation Nation. I think I even got it on the Redstone page and the Amos Moses and the Legends page. Why? Because I'm still a moderator. I can do it. But all those guys that I played with in both those bands, they are behind it too. And so if you're on any of those pages, just share the wealth, or donate $5, donate $100, donate whatever you can. I get it. So, now on back to the other things. Let's see, what else has been going on this week? Let's see.
Y'all fix any roofs this week?
No, man, we've been bored.
Yeah?
There's not been any problems.
No rain?
I've been on vacation 2 months.
Yeah, been too hot?
Actually, almost, if it wasn't raining.
Yeah.
But no, we've been slammed, and that's some of the things I was going to talk to about. I've been running into a lot of last year's damage, hail damage, wind damage. People don't know it's not like the 2012 storm that just decimated the city and surrounding areas.
Right.
There was a lot of isolated storms last year, and if you weren't there at your house when it happened or in bed, you don't even know it hit your house or your roof.
Yeah.
And you can't look up at your roof and go, unless they're missing shingles, and go, oh, there's damage to that.
Yeah.
That's what we do for you. We get up and check it because these people were coming to get, or called us out to do a roof estimate. They say, hey, my roof's getting old, come out, let me know where it's at, and if it's time for a new one, let's do what we got to do. And I get up there and I start seeing hail damage. I start seeing wind damage. And, you pay your insurance companies to insure your properties. And when there's insurable damage, that's when you use it.
Yeah.
You don't use it on I always say if you got a $1,000 deductible, you don't use it for $1,200 because it's going to give you $200. Eat that. It's not worth the claim.
Right.
If you're not getting 2 to 1, at least over 2 to 1 to 3 to 1 to 4 to 1 to 5 to 1 of every dollar you spend of your deductible from your insurance, it's not worth it, people. You're doing your own self damage, if you will. But I've saved numerous people thousands this week because why they got their roof inspected. That's when I say I save you thousands. It's not always we can get out there early and repair stuff and get you along to where you want to need a new roof or start spending more money. That we get you to the point that I go out and go, nope, it's gone. Look, it's insurable. Here, this is. Bam.
Well, how long does it take before that goes away? I mean, because, before the insurance company says, nah, it's been too long and we don't know when that actually happened.
Typically, check with your insurance company. Everyone's different. Typically, it's a year. You have a year to file for a claim. But again, some go 2, some go longer. It's hard to tell sometimes when the storm happened. If you weren't there, if it wasn't just the whole neighborhood like a tornado, it's hard to determine was it this, that. But they have it. I have it. An app, whatever you want to call it. I can go online and I can find all the storm dates around here last year in the state of Tennessee. I mean, there are literally maps. Hell, they call them sloth or swath maps. They show you where and you go inside of that red zone, green zone, yellow zone, you'll find damage. Well, not on every house. I used to always crack up. I'd be meeting with an adjuster and the homeowner would be looking at him and going, they got a new house, or they got a new roof, they got a roof, and the adjuster, there would be nothing wrong with the roof, and the adjuster would go, it's got to stop somewhere. You've seen the hurricanes.
Hey, man, when remember that big tornado that jumped across 24 and came through out there on Medical Center Parkway?
I saw it.
Man, I went to a buddy of mine, Brian Kemp. He lived in a townhouse right there. He was Well, I'll just put it to you this way. The townhouse he lived in, it didn't touch it. The house 60 yards behind him, it actually picked the house up and turned it about 8 degrees on the slab and set it back down. But not a single piece of siding, nothing, shingle, nothing. And he was 60 yards away, if that far.
Yeah, and the house beside him probably was decimated.
It picked the house up and twisted it, just like if it was at 12, if you were looking at it at 12 o'clock, it picked it up and twisted it to about 1 and then set it right back down on the slab.
Yep, you just don't, but that's why you gotta get stuff inspected. You know, it's just that simple. You get your car looked at, you get everything that's depreciating by a second, you pull your billfold out and you throw money at it left and right, and the one thing over your head you never do anything about, and you can't live without it.
Yeah.
Well, you can. You go down under the bridge or in the woods or somewhere else, but then again, you still got something over your head.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. But you don't know what you don't know. People aren't raised to think about roofing. They don't. It's just, when's the last time, I tell my clients all the time, I'll show up and I say, I always joke on the radio that everybody listening to my voice right now driving down the road. Think about this for a second. Did you look back at your roof when you left your driveway and say, it's time for a roof inspection? Negative. Now, a couple of you now are thinking, when you pull back in, you're going to be looking up.
Yeah.
You know what? One of our taglines, we're looking up for you. That's what we do. Because the only time you look up is when it's dripping on your head and you freak out.
That's true.
And I really want to tell a couple people, if you called me last year, this wouldn't have been an issue. You know, it's like but you don't know what you don't.
Well,
know.
and I've got some people that are in. I wouldn't say they're not complaining, but you know, some of the associations we work for, we do the roof and we take care of any interior water damage, just sheetrock wise. And then we're kind of getting into one of those. Well, why is it costing so much to get the interior repaired? Well, it's because you're not taking care of the exterior when you could. And you know what I mean? Now you got to pay for both of them instead of just paying for one.
That's the cost.
Yeah.
And then when I come out and tell you to replace a pipe boot is $265 or $300 or $400 depending on your roof pitch and all this other stuff, and you go, wow, that's a lot of money. I'm like, we got a $15,000 roof. How much is a tire on that car?
Yeah.
You got a $30,000 car, it's $300 tire. And that's the difference. That you got to equate what you're repairing. You're repairing one of the biggest, if not the biggest asset of your biggest investment. And by the way, that biggest asset's not cheap. No. $7, $8, $10, $12, $15, $20,000 is not cheap.
Yeah,
that's money.
Yeah,
it's
that's
money
right.
to me.
Oh yeah,
that's why I do this radio show, so I can get a free roof on these days when I'm gonna need it.
I'm checking my naughty or not. So don't you worry about that. So this is exactly the way it's going to go. Yes, sir. I see what we're doing. Kevin, you know the mute mics. You know, got that. Yeah, but Johnny knows where everything's at around here. So. Little Ellis in the house today. Yeah. Thank you very much. But you're listening to Renovation Nation live on SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. Sitting here with JohnnyB and guys Chris and Miss Kimberly Rowland. And when we come back, you just got to wait and see when you come back. It's only going to get better. See you here in a couple.
Yeah, you mispronounced Lena, but you also mispronounced my name.
That is bad when you.
I know.
And Kevin's rubbing it in right now.
That's it. What?
Kevin's rubbing it in right now.
I know he is. I get it. No, I just couldn't. Oh, yeah, I was so used to always saying, Kim Presley's here, Kim Presley's here, Kim Presley's here.
It's hard to get rid of Presley.
I'm trying. It's hard. I mean, because you're just getting that rhythm. She knows I don't mean it.
Buddy Major said, hey, big guy.
Oh, nice. Well, buddy's good guy. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I can't get to on my phone.
Let me see.
I don't have the app. Let me show you. I don't let Facebook on my phone.
I mean, where's my search? Can I search?
Yeah, it'll come up, but it won't let me hit play. Safari says it's not a valid address.
It is time to call USS.
I can bounce between.
Oh, you don't have the app. That's right.
Use your open.
Log in through online. Oh, when I say log in, go online, like go to Safari, go to Facebook, log in, and then go to RTM Roofing and click. Okay. And it might get you around it that way. I doubt it. They probably thought about that, but yeah, we're still
He was watching.
Oh, is she? Cool. Yeah, last week I was running my Facebook page here, my RTM page, and then the Renovation Nation page, because people were scrolling and talking and all through. And I was hoping to get it here because I know some people will be throwing, but it's not there.
Overcast day.
Yeah.
Hey, open that blind a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. It's just, we used to have to get our phones and lean it up by here sometimes so those to get the signal to get out.
It really did help, though.
So it's pretty funny.
I love it.
Homes with an alarm system are 3 times less likely to be broken into.
Okay, that's coming
But did
through.
you know that
I always liked working with
reason
those Cheryl
security
and,
systems fail is that
those
people
guys.
Yeah.
simply forget
They
to
were
turn
nice
them on.
It was always fun up there. We
It
were
was
running.
fun up there.
We were running in up and out there wide open all the time. That was only time I'd show up was right before we were going out the road or whatever, coming there to see Chad or something and all that. That was good. That was good times over there. Cat was there. Remember Cat and Nanette was there for a lot of years and
Are you still
yeah.
live, Jen?
What's that?
Are you still live?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That guy with,
It just shows it, yeah.
I always dug that guy that used to play with the axe. What was his name?
Give NCA a call
Teddy.
at 615.
Yes. Yeah. He was
died
good.
recently. He died.
Did he?
Long ago, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
7622.
Yeah, I found him on Facebook when I first got on it, and
Mention our license number 645.
I could tell he wasn't doing well.
Yeah. You just don't know. We had a
I'm more
we had a
resourceful
client.
than I thought.
We had a client.
still make an impression.
Okay, hear that. I didn't know. I wouldn't even. I was just supposed to hear trying to keep.
And my lamp can bring others a
We
bright
ran
future.
networking talk
Because when I donate my stuff to
and one of the
Goodwill,
companies we
it
had,
helps
there
to
was
find
supposed to
job
be a lady
placement and
show up
training
to,
for people right in my
they called her
community.
like,
Now my
"Where's-
stuff gets a
was there
second
somebody
chance.
supposed to be here?"
And we'll
Oh,
give
yeah.
someone in
I
my
think her name was Laura.
community
And
second
the
chances.
guys were just got a blank
Goodwill.
face, and
Donate
it was like,
stuff, create
she was
jobs.
30 years
Find your
old,
nearest
getting
donation
me
center
to
at
work out. They said,
goodwill.org.
tip-top
That's goodwill.org.
shape,
This message
fell
brought to
over,
you
I
by
think, the
Goodwill
brain
and the Ad Council.
Yeah, just gone. That we're back, but you just. Oh. You just never know what Kevin's going to do. I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking
I
about.
like a little variety.
I love that he gets it, man. I love that he gets it. Big shout out to Kevin Mumford that wears about 90 hats and about 80 jobs. That's
Well,
what
that's
I'm
the
talking
truth.
about. That's a good guy. I had to show him the Mevo today. I think everybody thinks I'm pitching it, but Mevo, you owe me some money.
Yeah, you do, because he does.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal thing. But you're listening to Renovation Nation live on SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. Sitting here with Mr. Johnny B. We know that gentleman. You know that gentleman. So we got Mr. Chris Gilbreth, got Miss Kimberly Rowland, and Miss Glenna Bozeman.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, see, that's good. Now I'm going to mess everything else up.
Yeah.
I got that right. It's over. But like I said, you're listening to Renovation Nation. We're sitting here, like I said, with Mr. Johnny B, John Bozeman.
Yes, sir.
And everybody knows you as the Johnny B man. We were just talking off air about the old Redstone days and the Cass Agency days
Yes.
and all that good stuff.
Yes, did that for a side job, actually. I was working with Phil, and then woman I was married to at the time said, "You need a second job." And so
That's what we all got told.
and
then.
so, she was making more than I was. But that's when Pat Riley, hit me
Yep.
up. He said, he said, "Do you need extra work?" And I said, "Sure." And
Yep.
he introduced me to them.
He's been on the show. We've had him on the show a couple
Yeah,
times.
he's a great guy.
Oh yeah,
He
Spider
is,
Eye,
man.
Spider
Yeah.
Eye Investigators,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want Pat.
Oh, he's intense.
He is. I love him. I love him.
I love him too.
Yeah.
I know
he can be intense.
Every now and then he stops by and I'm like, "Are you like researching on me, or you just stop by and say hi?" That's what I think now. Is this like, "You're a pretty good actor. You're a pretty good actor." I'm like, "Come on now."
Exactly.
No, he's a great guy. But yes. So you've seen some of our show. You've popped in here and there, maybe watched some of it on Facebook. And what I typically do is start in with who, what, when, where, and where'd you come from, and where are you from, Johnny B?
I'm originally from Wichita, Kansas. My parents were singing minstrels and radio people, and they traveled. Every one of us was born in a different town. Like my oldest sister was born in Birmingham, Alabama. My other sister was born in Iowa, and I was born in Kansas. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a unicorn.
Nah, well,
Even from Nashville, we call it unicorns.
it's
man.
kind
It's
of
just-
yeah.
It's straight up because it's a dying breed of people from Nashville anymore.
Oh, that's the
And-
truth.
It is.
That's
it
the
is.
truth.
I've been to Wichita. I dated a girl that was from there, and we went down to see her one weekend, and I got the worst food poisoning of my life at this little. I ate Chinese food at the mall, which was stupid to do, but man, it was horrible, man. I had to go to the emergency room. I never went,
man.
dude. It was rough.
Wichita's rough anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Going back to Wichita.
Yeah.
So,
Really go through there.
What then what I was going to joke a second ago was, I used to run him at the cast agency, and then he got in with Phil. Everybody knows the Phil Valentine show now.
Yeah.
And I never heard from him again. He's
Hey, it's a big time. Ain't time for the little people,
That's
though.
what I'm talking about. Johnny
Hey,
B.
man, we're trying to be big time now, though. We're getting there. Hey, we're one step farther than we were last week with Johnny B on the show.
They let us in this room.
That's the craziest. That's the craziest part. We sat in here the first time with Dan Mandis, and I was he
Our
was
test
doing
run.
our
Our
test
test
run
run.
before
Yes.
even on the air, and I was like, so we sat here. It's like, so man, you gonna be here on Saturday with us? He's like, nah, you got it. And I was like, they're just gonna turn us loose on live radio after about a 30-minute session in here, and he said, yep.
Yep. Like they don't know what they just did. Kevin's looking at us like, who are these crazy
guys?
people?
Yeah.
But it was funny, Johnny. You'll appreciate this. He stopped by my house first. We get prepared. What we're going to do. So you got an hour. Okay. The segment's 10, 12, 12, 10, or whatever it is, and so we've got 15 pages of notes. Because you think dead air is deadly.
Right.
Maintain talking.
It's a mortal sin.
So we get in here and we start exactly.
Yeah.
And we get in here and start doing stuff, and having Dan sitting right over here behind me is intimidating. I'm just like, don't, you sit outside, we can do this.
Like Daddy's
But
watching.
we get out, we get done with it. Now at the house, Chris and I are just pop.
We left there. We were like, oh, dude, we got this, man. This ain't no problem.
And
that red light goes off.
and then we got in here, and Chris, at least I'd played music for years. Been in front of people, been in from thousands to hundreds to zero people.
Right.
How that is.
Right.
And so I've been used to that kind of pressure.
Right.
But it's different when you're sitting here at a mic and all of a sudden now you're live.
Well, because when you're live, you can gauge what the audience likes.
Yes.
You can kind of gauge where to go, what songs to play, what jokes might go over. But when you're in radio, you've got to guess what the...
Guessing is crazy.
And I had zero intentions whatsoever of being on a radio show.
But
ever.
we get done, and Chris over like a deer. It's not bad. He's come a long way, but he's like a deer in the headlights.
I've come a long way.
See what I'm talking about? But seriously, he has, because I've watched him go. Now it was enough. It was hard for me.
Yeah.
Now in 2003 or 2004, I was doing X Radio Biz Nashville down below the Wild Horse, as internet station.
Right.
That we were doing. I had called the Wake and Shake show, and so I'd already had a year of practice, sort of just playing around.
Right.
We had 30,000 listeners all over the planet on that. It was crazy. But the wild part was coming here was as an adjustment. But watching him do that, and afterwards he's like, that was hard. That wasn't like what we did at your kitchen table.
Yeah, no, it was not.
But it's that live presence, like you say. Once you know that red light goes on, it's a different beast.
Yeah, and my deal was to only come in here and be the guest on the first show. I did not plan on getting roped into this thing for going on heading towards 2 years now.
You know we call that a band. I'm gonna learn to play guitar. 30 years later, living in a trailer, still playing guitar.
I wind up here.
But anyhow, so you got after that, what got you to Nashville?
Well, my dad was big in country radio, and I was really exposed to a lot of country artists, and I really got into outlaw country music, what they called it, with Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson,
outlaw then,
David Allen Coe, and all those guys.
Yeah.
And it was an interview I read with Waylon about Nashville being such a cool place. And so that kind of inspired me to come here. And I wanted to pursue music like everybody. And
right here.
And that's the whole reason I got into radio, actually, because I thought it could keep me close to music. And it would be great because I was playing country music on the road, so I could gauge what people liked by what was popular at the time. And
yeah.
So it worked out both ways. They both went hand in hand with each other.
And did you think you'd land on this side of it versus the other side of it, being behind the mic in the studio versus behind the mic on the stage?
That wasn't my plan, but it ended up being that way.
Hey, here we both are.
Well, I'm a real, I can be a real stubborn person, and I think that was part of my problem with trying to do music, was that you have so many that try to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
And what's right for you. And sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't, and they should give you the chance to.
That's why I love this station, them allowing me to have this hour. It's the RTM Roofing Hour,
Sure.
but we call it Renovation Nation. That there's no one in here going, this is your, I mean, you got the basic rules, don't do X, Y, and Z, and that's, of course.
Yeah, don't cuss.
Yeah, like earlier. But at the same point in time, it's, they give us the leeway to do whatever. It's a Renovation Nation show, and we're renovating producers behind the mics today. That's what I'm talking about. That's
well, we've kind of ebbed and flowed with it too, because
Yep.
we started out just having a contractor and a real estate agent, and then people started bailing on us. They'd say they'd be in, and then we'd show up here Saturday. Well, they can't make it, kid's soccer game or whatever.
Well, people get nervous about coming behind the mic. You know that. They saying they've never done it, and what are you going? I need questions. Like, no, this is a conversation. It's not a political show where I'm going to flip back on the back end, going, "Hey, you said something different."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's. I like having fun.
Well, and sometimes it can go the other way too. I had a son that expressed interest in being in radio, but really turned out it wasn't right for him, and for one reason he didn't take it seriously and wouldn't show up on time and that kind of thing. And that there is the other side to that. They're not just scared about coming in, it doesn't seem that big a deal to them.
I learned that lesson playing on a band.
Yes.
Gig time, getting there. When we first started this show, I was leaving at 9:15 to get here. My worst fear is driving down the interstate and it's 11:01, and we're going on at 11:02. Right? I even told Kim, like, what happens if that goes on? Can I call in? But we've had one close call, but you get in a routine, you get comfortable, but it's a responsibility.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like we had Donald Trump Jr. in one day, and
how was that?
Well, we were going to tape it at 10, and I left the house, I thought, in plenty of time, and hit one of those Nashville where it's a parking lot on 65.
Quit moving here, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I got here at 10:05. I don't think that went over real well with Junior.
Oh, wow. Well, life happens. We don't have a helicopter.
He was nice about it.
Yeah.
But you could tell he was a little...
You should have requested the Trump chopper.
Yeah, I should have.
And then come down and fly you in.
Yeah, get me in here, man.
Yeah.
So, I know we're going to come up on the hard break here at the half, but right here in just a little bit, I want to find out some more on how you and Phil got together.
Oh, okay.
And some things like that. And then I'm also going to ask about Glenna's drawing I saw.
Oh, yeah.
That was superb.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we're going to come back and talk about that and a bunch more stuff, because I've always been inquisitive about how you got the country music side of the people you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never heard some of these stories, so I bet none of you have either. And we come back in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're gonna find it out. We've got him on the spot. See you in a minute. Nice. People freak out. They think the hours will go forever. We're already halfway through the show.
I know. I'm sitting here thinking, damn, we don't have long enough to talk to you about all the stuff that I want to know.
I usually cat scratch stuff, right when I get here, just a couple things just to keep, in case I have space or something.
Yeah.
And this morning I was making some things, making sure I knew what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to talk about 2 of them. So this is funny. It goes by fast. Well, you just get to talking, one thing. That's what I tell the people that we try to bring on. We start a conversation, you'll say something. I'm like, well, let's go over here for a minute, please. And that leads back to here. And then when you get out of that, and then go into this. So.
Oh yeah, it'll fly by.
But I've got to do that shout out. Oh yeah, I got these shout outs I got to do now. That's what I'm sure. So that and then anything you want to bring up or whatever, there's no format.
All right.
So we're calling this, like I say, we'll turn the Renovation Nation show into. You can renovate anything.
Yeah.
I've had my custom closing down here. I've told you, you've seen that. I've had my custom closing down here talking about, you got to look like $1 million to sell $1 million. We've had construction people on.
Bacchus against child abuse.
Bacchus against child abuse. What's up, Jim?
If you're listening, you're invited anytime, man. The show starts at 11.
And I know one time he was out of town. So I didn't give him a ride while
That's all right. He's got a solid invite. He can show up anytime he
Yes,
wants
he
to.
can. Because he can get in the door no matter if you got a key or not.
He won't leave his motorcycle outside. So.
But
Yeah.
y'all see anything on the site? Anything?
No, I told you this.
Let me see.
Does anybody watch?
Yeah. Some people from my industry.
All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Lou will make
Are you
sure
on my
your
page?
sales are
I know. That's why I'm just giving you the eyeball to see who's watching.
answer your call and work to fit you into a
No.
term life
But
policy
not
that
on
you
this
can
one anyway.
afford.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Remember,
looking at.
Big
I ain't got to do
Lou's
that
like-
yet. I've been waiting to do it, and I just haven't yet. Y'all hear it in a little bit.
Playing along yet. Ring my bell.
Ring my
That's
bell.
what I get
Hey, do you have concrete around your home?
No
that's
single
settling,
shingle.
creating a big eyesore or a safety hazard? Maybe
Is that
your
what played? I haven't
sidewalk,
heard
your
that.
porch steps, shifting
That's not
and
what.
settling
That's not
concrete
played on
can
the show
create
yet,
a
has it?
dangerous
That commercial?
situation.
Okay. I
Not
didn't
that
think I
one.
heard it.
Around your home. So here's what you need to do.
Who is it,
Well,
Lee?
Look, not to
Your
mention the
commercial.
possibility of stubbing
The
your
single
toes.
shingle.
Oh yeah, did you, at the very beginning.
I heard him say RTM roofing. I just didn't hear the single shingle.
That was the very first commercial.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
At the first commercial break is that one. Then they'll do it, I think, at the 45 or whatever. They'll replay right there. And then they're alternating. We're doing 90-10. We're doing 90% the LLS and 10% the inspection you did back in February last year or March of last year. That commercial there I've got running. So it's talking about inspection, storms coming up.
Yeah.
That's why we were developing some of those so we can reuse them anytime.
Yeah.
You know, and just since without having to do another one, just let's run that for a minute, and now we do change the subject, we'll make new ones. Because it has Renovation Nation in it, it has inspections and that time of year. So.
There you go.
All right. Yeah. Facebook, you mute this, I'm going off. The rails.
I like this.
I do too.
Who is this?
I don't know, but if we let it go
Kevin?
longer than 22 seconds, they mute it on Facebook. You know what? 21 cut. But anyway. Yes. Yes. That's the kind of Saturday this is.
I bet my mom's digging on this. She's
talking
a
about.
she's a bebop kind of girl.
Man, that's freaking awesome. You're listening to Renovation Nation live on SuperTalk 997 WTN. I'm Chad Rowland, the host, owner of RTM Roofing. By the way, get your roofs inspected once a year. Call 615-500-0751. Again, that's 615-500-0751. Because Carly's only had like 65 calls.
That's
this week.
right. And be nice to her. She will rip your head off.
Only,
just kidding.
Only
just
before the mimosas.
Yeah.
But anyhow, or go to rtmroofing.com. And by the way, we're raising money for LLS. It's ticking down. Whoever donates the most egg, or we're going to draw out, or we're just going to pick you. If you donate something, you're going to be in the running for a free Topgolf. Come with us, and we're going to take you to Topgolf one evening, one day, one weekend, whatever it may be to fit your schedule. That's what we're giving away this week. So donate or share it, but go to rtmroofing.com. I need to do a couple things before I get in trouble. And I want to give a big shout out to Scott Ostrand out there in Kansas. Nebraska. See, I didn't call him John though.
Yeah, John in Nebraska.
But anyways, yeah, I didn't say John Ostrand. It's Scott Ostrand. But anyways, he knows what I'm talking about. And but I'm glad you're getting better, buddy. And the new mother-in-law, Miss Joyce Regner. Yes, I was going to say Regner. She reigns. And happy birthday tomorrow to her. And the silent auction. We're doing that. There's some things. Nick Rogers is doing a big thing at the silent auction on the 27th. We're going to tell them more about. Thanks to the gym, the Grind Gym, for that in Hendersonville, because they're giving away some time or some training, some things like that. 3 months, one trainer session, if I just saw that right. Perfect. So that's something that's going to be at one of our silent auctions that we're going to give you more information about. But big thanks to Nick and for that. And so that's got that out of the way. Big shout out to John Sweeney, my chiropractor. Saw him this morning. Took my big buddy Brent Rollins over there. You know Brent? You ever met Brent?
I have not.
He does. We used to always. He was the first person to ever record Redstone, so in Murfreesboro. But now he's the Kings Leon Front of House guy.
Oh wow.
Sound guy. Yeah, and he was having some. I was like, you need to come see John. So we met there this morning, and big shout out to John Swing, so I can lean back, touch my ankles, leaning backwards now.
There you go.
This is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Hey, come on now. but no, seriously, it's yeah. Y'all fun. Y'all funny people. Y'all go now.
Hey, you said it, dude. I'm just rolling with it.
That's right.
On the honeymoon. Well, all your best stuff there.
yeah.
I'll leave that one there. But anyhow, we're sitting here with Johnny B, and you know Johnny B from the Phil Valentine show, and of course got Chris Gilbert with Westwood Management, Kimberly Rowland, and Miss Glenna Bozeman. I'm not going to forget that now. After that look I got a minute ago. So let me. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for coming in, by the way. I told Johnny, I said, please bring your wife. We always have an entourage in here, and you know we're going to have some fun.
Well, you're special because to get her out like this on a Saturday, that's big.
That's awesome. Thank you again. Thank you for bringing him. I know what happened. You got to try him.
Make sure I got here safe.
But you know, off the air. Oh, what was the painting? Was it Spider-Man or Superman?
Superman. Would you like to tell them? No.
Yeah. Well, if I saw
it's
right,
a project.
that you actually it was given away, or was it donated to something?
Yeah.
A lady Facebooked me, and then she sat there and she says, I have a friend that's in a St. Jude Children's Hospital. He's 7 years old. Can you do superheroes? I'll pay you for it. I don't want no money for it. And I even told her, I'll ship it out. You'll have it Monday. And I figure anything to make that little boy to brighten his day, I'll give it away.
There it is. There it is.
Take the bell.
There it is.
Take the bell.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian.
Brian, please don't do that again.
That's completely, unbelievably awesome.
That
I
is cool.
saw that. It was earlier in the week or something. I saw it, and I couldn't remember it. I wrote down in my book Spider-Man or something in Miss Bozeman. And so I wanted to bring that up because a good friend of mine works for the St. Jude people down there. It's in Memphis. Is that correct? That's right. Yes. And so that's a good thing. But thank you. That's great. Okay, got that out of the way. I'm going down the list here, so don't forget stuff.
I'm interested in hearing these country music stories.
Yes. And first, before the country music story though,
okay,
how'd you get with Phil?
Oh, it was actually 106 FM. It was basically music like Michael Bolton. They played music like that, Mariah Carey. And I was needing a job because I'd worked with my father for a long time, and he basically went broke. And so I was trying to desperately find something. I had a friend that worked at 106 FM and got there and worked weekends, and it turned out that Phil and Terry Hopkins, who was his partner at that time, needed a producer. And so I went for that job and got it, and that's how we met, actually.
Nice.
We started working together. But I actually thought that I would get along better with Terry than I would Phil, because I had met Terry like a few weeks before at Brown's Diner, because he used to live there.
Oh, I love Brown's Diner.
Yeah, and we had met there, and so when I saw that he worked there, I thought, oh, this is going to be fun, because he was a lot of fun at Brown's Diner. Well, it turned out that Phil and I had more fun in the studio, and Terry and I butted heads quite a bit.
I was telling Kim, we were trying to, because after we did our commercial, you were telling me that story, and I was hoping you were going to tell that one online, or on air right here, and I was telling Kim that Chris, he and I have got a good chemistry. It's always the ones, and I didn't think I was bringing him to help me out to get the show kicked off because he knew construction and I could answer questions and it helped me kill some time. But I've known him for a long time, right? And the chemistry that we've got, people love it. I mean, we feed off each other well. It's a hard, you can't force that.
No, you cannot.
It's either natural or it isn't.
Well, it's kind of the way I describe marriage, because I've been married a few times. And I think that...
Oh, I saw that look.
Where was the camera?
What I was going to do was pay a compliment here, because when I found her, when Glenn and I met, neither one of us were really planning on a long-term relationship, and it just turned into, we complimented each other very well, and it always, it just kind of felt like we'd always been together, so...
Well, I can tell you one thing. We both married up.
Yes, we did.
Tell you that right now.
Yes, we did.
That, and you're right. You're right about that. It is that kind of symbiotic relationship.
Well, it took me a few women to find out you know, which one was perfect for you, or you know, because it's not that there was anything wrong with the women. It was just we were not meant for each other.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to find the right one?
How long you got?
No, because I met her, it was 10 years ago.
Wow.
This June, and of course that's our wedding anniversary too.
Yeah, we met May 1st.
Did you really?
Yeah, and she said if she realized I was a musician, she'd swipe left instead of right. On my only point was one of my pictures with me at the exit in on top of my guitar. I'm like, yeah, you keep saying that.
Yeah.
It's a guitar, guys. There's only a couple of reasons everybody ever became a musician. It was to go out and live the rock and roll lifestyle and meet women. As a young teenager, kid, watching the old '60s sex, drugs, and rock and roll type deal, the rock and roll, and but nevertheless, though, I got lucky. I definitely got lucky finding her, and I'm glad she swiped that direction. I'd already been swiping like 90 times her direction, and she kept no. But anyhow, so you've been with Phil now, and so how many? You just did your 20th year?
We're starting our 21st year.
No kidding.
Wow, man, it flies, doesn't it?
And we were talking the other day. We've never had a crossword with each other all through that time. We get along.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. I mean, I've listened to you guys. I've listened to y'all for years, and checking on it. And like I was telling you the other day, I thought it was really great because Phil's good at what he does.
Yes,
I mean, he is. He's phenomenal at what he does. But it's not that he couldn't do it by itself. But what you do with him in that symbiotic relationship, like I was talking about, the who's dancing in the booth now. I mean, it's brilliant and it works and it's original.
Well, I think part of it is that we're different people.
Yeah.
And that's even though we agree on a lot of things, we're different individuals, and we also don't talk a lot before the show starts.
Yeah, I try to tell
we
you
don't hang out together.
Yeah, I'm nowhere like this guy. This guy's nuts over here. That's what's
well, people always think that we're hanging out all the time, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
In fact, the first time I ever went to his house, I think, for a prolonged visit was we went for one of the kids' graduations, and just had a little get together and party at his house. And I think that was the first time I'd really spent a lot of time there.
And see, that's what I was talking about too, about when you're doing stuff like this. The improv is the best. You can't rehearse. You rehearse certain things. We need to do this, and this, but it's hard to tell a story. Like we're in the break right here, and then retell that story with the same.
It never comes across the same.
Never comes across the same way.
No, the freshness is gone.
Yes.
In fact, that anytime you hear that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez music, that was all a happy accident. He was going to do. He started doing a story on her and started going into that voice. And so I immediately looked for some guitar music and found it. I mean, just happened on it.
Yeah.
And he did the whole bit. And as he ended, the music ended. It was just, I don't know how that worked out, but
it still works.
Spontaneous, yes.
Every time you guys do it, it works.
Yeah. No, that's like I love Kevin back here, even though he's the station guy, not even supposed to be working for us other than making sure it's on and off, and he doesn't work for us. But he takes the initiative, and I love to when we're talking about stuff the new musics. Putting the music for the moves. I love it. It makes it pro, and he's on top of his game back there.
Well, one thing I do love is that I think we've hired great people, and especially back behind the board. You've got a lot of great guys back there now.
Man, your sound guy is the most important part of the band. The people don't realize that.
That's very true.
I did sound for years. That's why my ears are still ringing. Mine's Jeff McAlpin's snare drum, and but it's you can have a bad night as a musician. Right. But what a sound guy is, he's the next member of the band because he's got to take all of you. All you've got is one part, your guitar part. You know that. Boom. You focus on that. You don't have to worry about the drummers doing this, that's doing.
Right.
But a sound guy has to pull all of your parts together and spit it out where it's cohesive and nice. And if you're having a rough night, he can make you sound good.
And they make you move like this guy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Feel like I'm watching
WBAI.
Yeah, man. All night.
When we come back, we're going to get to Chris asking his country stories he wants to hear.
Yes, I'm interested.
So we're going to do that. And you're listening to Renovation Nation live on SuperTalk 997. Go to rtmroofing.com, share it because we're donating to the LLS Society. Pick some lint out of your pocket and throw some money at a good cause and help find some cures for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. See you in a couple.
Mine said
Is he
thank
picking
you.
that music?
Mm-hmm. Very good. He nails it.
He does.
And because normally when we first started the show, I have the Motley Crue song, that's our kickoff. 'Cause you always give something to, let people know it's that time. With that, it's a brand, that when people hear it, that's all.
Yeah.
And then we would have, I think, the Rolling Stones, the Paint Your Door Black, or whatever. And try to renovate the song, something that would go with it. And then a couple others, Talking Heads or something. I can't.
He did,
I had 4 songs. I was like, here's the break here, intro, break, intro. And then after time that he got to watch this, and we've been here now almost 2 years, July, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That we start talking about stuff. Michigan game was on.
She's a Wolverine, by the way.
And then
I like Wolverine.
I heard Ohio earlier, and I didn't say nothing. I just stayed back.
Alabama.
What part of Ohio?
You got to pick an SEC team, too.
Right.
Right across from Wheeling, West Virginia.
Okay, because my grandmother's side's from Dayton. Dayton,
I never
Kettering,
read that.
and all that, the Miamisburg, and all this right north of Cincinnati, yeah. So I grew up a lot there during the winters. We'll go up there during the summers and winters, going up there, Christmas and stuff. So.
Winters.
Oh, I was always snow though. Down here, it'd be no snow. You go up there and it'd be 6, 8 inches every Christmas. But yeah, so yeah, we had. What are you gonna do? That's why I keep wanting to try to pull some snippets of all these videos now and make like a bestseller.
Yeah.
And then start pushing. Just a little market in the middle of X Alabama, population 800. That needs an hour fielding spot. Of just to be able to, whatever. And then, so, I don't know if I'll ever get it done, but it'd be fun. It's like the same, it's my second music. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't be on stage, well, I at least got this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got a sounding board.
Yeah.
If I need it.
Exactly.
That's what I like about the RTN hour. I want it.
Yeah.
Within reason. Until they say no, but our ratings have been like this the whole time since we started. So
You guys are having fun.
I know John Bell. I saw he does the Hour After the Tony Esco show. And John Bell usually in here record. They record a lot, but I saw him at Kings Leon concert. And he was loving the show, because we started building a lot of people listening. And because it was bumping, they were getting more carried over into their listeners because they were used to doing 2 hours. That's hard to keep from hour to hour on there. And at the whole time, but nevertheless, we were just blowing up.
That's awesome.
See, every time you have fun, people are fun.
That's the whole thing.
Your vibe attracts your attraction,
You can't just sit here. Yeah, you can't. It's like we're talking about. It's radio. It's hearing. It's not hearing and seeing. Some people just may like the visuals may catch them, and the music. Oh, at a show, but they're entertained. Or the audio may hit. Visuals don't care. But if it's just audio only, then if somebody.
Exactly.
I've been to a lady's house to look at some work for her, and we were talking, and we were talking about some exterminator.
This hour of programming brought to you by
roofing
RTM
deal
Roofing.
before.
Go to RTMRoofing.com for all your roofing needs.
Our old neighbor.
Huh?
That's our old neighbor.
Cheryl Crow?
Cheryl Crow, yeah. She's lived down in College Grove.
I met her. I met her at a Bonnaroo one year, many years ago. Me and Doc Hollywood, Shane Nunley. No Doc, he's now with Luke Bryan doing a bunch of stuff for him. But we were runners there the first year. I was there the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And I actually have notes right here. You ever heard of Leo Kotke?
Yes. Great guitar player.
Mike Gordon.
No.
He's the bass player for Fish.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I had to go pick him up at the airport. I was the runners, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I had my greenhouse, out there in College Grove, and I was talking about cloning, because I'm cloning some tomatoes tonight to get you ready. And I see a red door, there it goes. Told you it's a red door.
Yeah.
And but nevertheless, Doc got me the paper. I was in the van with him for 3 hours, because I had taken them to Murfreesboro, took them to Chambers Guitars. They needed some stuff, so I knew everybody. I'm riding around, and everybody's like, you owe me one. I'm bringing another story. You owe me one. But here you go. I know these guys, and what I'm getting at is that when they were doing a acoustic set together. Mm-hmm. It was at Bonnaroo on the main stage.
Wow.
And during that, they have a song called Clone. And I was telling them how you could clone basil, take a couple basil plants and clone thousands out of them. So they called that in honor of their driver that day. They couldn't remember the name. They honored that driver that day. They called it the Clone because they learned a lot about cloning. So they called it the Basil Song.
Wow.
And it's all over the newspaper. Yeah, that was the
cool.
second Bonnaroo. Leo Kotke and Mike Gordon. I'm sitting with Mike Gordon at the airport, And everybody's like, he's like, no, it's not. But anyway, but so go ahead, Chris. I know you got questions.
Well, no, I just wanted to hear some of your country music stories. I've heard you a lot talking on the Phil Valentine show, and just how that whole thing got you. I mean, got you going where you're at.
Oh, as far as country music,
or people,
just the people that you ran into,
crazy
like
stories.
Just,
it's a crazy story. Or plenty of those.
Who's your most revered musician, country or whatever that you've met that you've at least. They met who's like, oh my Lord, I met so and so.
Well, Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings were two.
Yes.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that meeting them. That was pretty awe-inspiring.
Yeah,
I'd say.
And I got to spend an evening with David Allan Coe one time.
Well, get out of town.
At Spence Manor. A friend of mine.
You remember it?
Yeah. Surprisingly. No, but at the time I was doing midnight radio on WRSKZ Country, and I played a lot of David Allan Coe music. We also had an album feature at 3 a.m. that we played an entire album. And so
awesome.
apparently he had heard that I'd been playing his music, and he was very happy about that. So this songwriter friend of mine, Zach Van Arsdale, set up the meeting, and we all ended up in his, in Coe's room that night. He had like 4 different wives. A very strange guy, but he was very nice.
At the same time?
Yes, he had 4 women up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was like an old. He claimed he was an old time
Mormon.
Mormon. Yes. Yes. He was a Mormon, and he, like I say, he was just a strange guy, but he was super nice. And we had steak dinner, and I hung out there for quite a while.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
That's Colonel Bruce Hampton hung out with a lot. We used to play for them, and then I guess if it was me, the one person I got to meet that was truly a class act gentleman. He was wide open, Mr. James Brown.
Oh wow, yeah.
I was sitting right outside at the Bonnaroo, and he come walking out because they were getting ready to play. But he was sitting there, and I looked over at him. Nice to meet you, Mr. Brown. And he's, how you doing? And just his guy finally had to come get him, take him away.
Yeah.
I talk a lot, but we both got to talking. And I mean, it was, it's amazing that these people are just people.
Well, they are, and we've met some really great country artists through Phil's show. Like Daryl Worley, Sarah Evans, super nice.
Yep.
But probably the nicest I've met is Wade Hayes. He's probably the nicest country artist I've ever met.
I really appreciate when I get to meet nice musicians. I've met a lot of people, been in a lot of rooms with a lot of people, like a fly on the wall sometimes. But you see the holes.
Yes.
And then you see the people that, know where they came from, and they still put their pants on one leg at a time and are humbled.
Well, Trace Atkins is another one, I'd say.
I saw him Thursday.
Did you really?
Home Depot on Moore's Lane. I didn't say anything to him, because I'm not that
he
dude.
Beat you down like a
pulp.
Kicked
me out of the way. Yeah.
But you got a band going on right now.
I'm trying.
You trying?
I'm trying. Yeah.
Me too.
Trying to get some guys together. Or if not that, I've even put out the word that if there's a band out there that would like me to sit in with them, I'd be glad to.
What do you play?
Just let me know. I play guitar very badly.
Yeah, me too.
And sing.
I don't sing. We need a singer.
Better.
We need a singer.
Do you really?
Yeah, I need a singer. Yeah, we're going to start talking.
Well, we may start talking.
That's what I'm telling you. Say hi when you get him in here and trap him. How it works, Chris.
Yeah, that works.
There we go. Lean against the door, Chris. I get excited.
I tell you, when you were talking about just their average, everyday people, I did some work over here at Soundstage. An old partner of mine, we remodeled a couple offices over there for him, and we were standing in the hallway talking to the guy Warren that runs that joint, and we're outside the studio and we're standing there. And a lady walks out of a studio, and my back is against the wall, and Warren's back's against the wall, and she kind of walked between us and turned around. And I looked at her, and I'm not big on celebrities. I don't really pay attention to that kind of thing. And I looked at her, and I was like, man, she looks familiar. And she just kind of turned around and started talking to us. And she reached out her hand. She's like, hey, I'm Trisha. And I was like, damn, that's Trisha Yearwood.
Wow.
She just hanging out. We were just talking construction, and she was talking about when they were building this house. She said she was living in a double-wide trailer at the time, and we were all like, yeah, I bet that's a nice double-wide trailer you're living in.
Yeah. It's got to be tricked out.
It has to be. But no, she was super nice. I'm not shocked, but just kind of that experience, kind of led you to believe that, hey, everybody is kind of cool just because they do something.
Well, and too, it's like the story about Miranda Lambert, even though she didn't I think, handled the situation well by
I would have done it.
salad. Well, I think I would have
I would
too.
have too.
I'm not proud to say I would.
I have.
What did she do? I just.
Well, what happened is apparently there was a 60-year-old gentleman that was, I guess, getting into the face of her new husband.
Okay.
That we found out that's who the guy was.
Mhm.
But this 60-year-old gentleman was upset that he had brought his cell phone in. The young guy had brought his cell phone into the restroom. And he said, "You millennials, you got to take your phones everywhere." And he kept on this guy, and instead of just letting it drop, he goes to their table and continues the argument. And that's why I understand. That's the story I've heard.
That's where I'd lose it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like road rage. And I learned this from doing the traffic course online many years ago. That you have the control.
Right.
You got until they box you in a corner. You've got 100% control to just pull away.
Right.
Yeah.
Go another direction.
The power of
Let
reaction.
it go. Let it go.
Yes.
You know,
It's much better to walk away.
Hey
now,
man,
you corner me. It's a different story.
Right.
But I
Hey,
don't sell
dude,
it too.
I had a guy
at my table and like that.
man, I had a guy here not too long ago get out of his car. I mean, he was definitely in the wrong. Now, did I act like I should have? No. But he ends up getting out of his car on me, and I keep a pistol in my truck. And he came around to the window of my truck, and I reached underneath the console, and I got this pistol on my lap, and he's telling me all these bad things he's fixing to do to me, and I'm like, no, sir, that's not going to happen. And so we kind of went back and forth for a few minutes, and then I got back to the job, and at the time I had a guy, Drew, working for me, and I was like, man, there's a lesson learned right there.
Yeah.
I said, man, all I had to do was be a little bit cooler, right, and just relax.
Right.
Because now if I would have let that situation progress, I'm standing in the middle of the street in Franklin. This dude's laying on the ground bleeding out, and I'm scared to death. I'm going to prison.
Right.
And I'm too pretty for prison.
You're too pretty for radio too. But that's what we do. But it is. There is life lessons. You can let it go. You can walk away. Walk away.
Yeah.
Be the better man. Be the better man. And you the better man today, coming in, big man.
Well, thank you.
Man, that was a pleasure. It really was, man.
This was awesome. We got to do this again.
Yes, we will.
Especially when we get our band together.
Okay.
Come in and do some live music. We'll spend a whole hour playing music. I do want to do that one day. Bring in a couple guys and just do some tunes while we're in here. We can do it.
Yeah, we can.
We can do it.
We can make it happen.
That'd be great, man.
I got to do my quote, the normal John Wayne quote. I'm sticking with the LLS. Go to rtmroofing.com and donate. David's Faith and Hope for Life Foundation. It's his quote. You always got to have faith. You always got to have hope, because at the end of the day, if you have those, you will have life. David Burns.
See ya.
Have you heard the same foundation and concrete problem?
That was close. I got
It was
That was
I
right
saw
on the
it because he gives me the 10-second countdown. I'm like,
I can tell.
yeah, that was awesome.
Man,
Fun, man.
yeah.
Thanks for letting me come in.
Oh, dude, that was fun.
She showed me that picture that you
I
on your
appreciate
tab.
you. I appreciate you wanting to come, especially when you're here every day. Anyhow, hey, you want to come back to work?
I love that.
But
Hey, Chad will do that to you too. He got me down there remodeling his bathroom one Sunday.
I told him bring rules.
He knows they stay on my truck.
That's what I meant. I didn't know. That's awesome.
Still,
Me
that
put up.
nothing like.
Go to David's Faith and Hope. Actually, don't go to David's Faith and Hope. Actually, that's a foundation too. Carly does. Go research that one and donate. But go to LLS or to rtmroofing.com. Donate, share it. Big shout out to Johnny B and Miss Glenna, and what you did for St. Jude's is still just impressive. I love that.
Yeah, I want to see that drawing.
She showed it to me. It's really awesome.
And anyhow, so we couldn't watch online today, but we spit it out there. Share the knowledge is power. You know what I mean. I can't talk anymore. See you next week. Let's kill this thing.